The vast emptiness of space stretched before Park Ji-hun like an infinite canvas of darkness and distant starlight. His transport ship, the Horizon Breaker, hummed with a steady rhythm that contrasted sharply with the impatient fidgeting of his single passenger, Kim Dong-woo. Dong-woo was not a typical traveler. He represented the Galactic Transit Authority, an organization known for its ruthless efficiency and strict performance metrics. Every millisecond counted in their world, and every deviation from optimal speed was considered a potential failure. Ji-hun knew this. He had studied their protocols, understood their expectations, but he also knew something they didn't. Human intuition and careful navigation were worth more than blind speed. The ship's interior was minimalistic, with soft blue ambient lighting and screens displaying complex navigation data. Rows of indicators flickered constantly, each representing a different system's status. Ji-hun's hands moved with practiced precision, adjusting microthrusters and scanning incoming spatial data. "We could be moving faster," Dong-woo muttered, his fingers tapping an impatient rhythm on the metallic chair arm. Ji-hun didn't respond immediately. His eyes remained fixed on the holographic display, tracking potential micro-asteroid clusters and gravitational anomalies that could spell disaster for a less attentive pilot. Their current route passed through a challenging sector of space, known for its unpredictable radiation pockets and electromagnetic disturbances. While most pilots would rush through, calculating the fastest possible trajectory, Ji-hun took a different approach. He remembered his training at the Interstellar Navigation Academy, where instructors repeatedly emphasized the difference between speed and safe arrival. "Speed kills more pilots than patience saves," his primary instructor would say. Dong-woo represented a culture that valued pure computational efficiency. To him, every fraction of a second wasted was a direct financial loss. The Galactic Transit Authority's algorithms were legendary. They could calculate optimal routes with mind-boggling precision. But algorithms, Ji-hun knew, couldn't account for the unexpected. They couldn't feel the subtle vibrations that suggested an incoming spatial disturbance. They couldn't sense the slight gravitational pull that might indicate a hidden asteroid field. A sudden warning flashed on one of the side screens. Most pilots would have ignored it or processed it through standard computational models. Ji-hun's hand moved almost instinctively, adjusting the ship's trajectory by mere millimeters. Dong-woo noticed. "What was that?" he asked, a hint of curiosity breaking through his impatience. "Potential radiation pocket," Ji-hun explained calmly. "We're avoiding it." The passenger leaned forward, watching Ji-hun's movements. For the first time since boarding, he seemed genuinely interested in something other than the ship's speed. Minutes passed. The ship continued its steady, seemingly slow journey. But to the trained eye, Ji-hun's navigation was a dance of precision and caution. Each movement was calculated, each adjustment a testament to human adaptability. Outside, space remained an infinite, silent canvas. Distant stars flickered, indifferent to the small drama unfolding within the Horizon Breaker. Massive planetary systems loomed in the background, their gravitational influences creating complex, invisible patterns that only skilled navigators could truly appreciate. Dong-woo had started to realize that speed wasn't everything. The ship moved with a grace that defied traditional efficiency metrics. It was moving slowly, yes, but it was moving perfectly. Little did he know that this journey would challenge everything he understood about interstellar travel. Little did he know that Park Ji-hun was about to prove that human intuition could outperform even the most advanced computational systems. The Horizon Breaker continued its path, a lone vessel carrying two individuals who were about to become part of an unexpected cosmic narrative, a story of patience, skill, and the profound difference between moving fast and moving right. The legal chambers of the Interstellar Transit Court buzzed with an unusual tension. Park Ji-hun sat calmly, his hands folded neatly on the smooth surface of the hearing table, while Kim Dong-woo presented a meticulously prepared complaint that seemed more like an accusation of technological treason. Official documents projected holographic text into the air. detailing every millisecond of inefficiency during their recent space journey. The Galactic Transit Authority's emblem, a stylized star map with interconnected pathways, hung prominently behind Dongwu, casting a blue-white light across the room. The defendant's navigation represents a 37.6% deviation from standard efficiency protocols, Dongwu announced, his voice clinical and precise. Each word was carefully selected, each argument constructed like a mathematical equation. The judicial officer, Li Sungmin, reviewed the extensive documentation. Her digital tablet scrolled through pages of complex charts, performance metrics, and computational analysis. She was known for her fair judgments and deep understanding of interstellar transportation regulations. Dongwu's complaint wasn't just about speed. It was a systematic challenge to human navigation methods. Every slide in his presentation demonstrated how computational algorithms could optimize travel routes with near-perfect precision. Graphs showed potential time and resource savings, economic impacts, and efficiency percentages. Jihan listened. He didn't interrupt. He understood that sometimes silence spoke louder than words. The hearing room itself was a marvel of modern design. Transparent walls allowed glimpses of the city's skyline, towering structures that blended architectural precision with organic curves. Holographic displays flickered with real-time data, translating legal arguments into visual representations. Our analysis proves that the defendant's navigation method resulted in 4.3 hours of unnecessary travel time, Dongwu continued. His presentation included simulated routes that showed theoretical faster paths through the same spatial sector. Li Sungmin occasionally adjusted her glasses, her expression neutral but attentive. She understood this wasn't just a simple legal dispute. This was a fundamental challenge to human navigation principles. Jihan's file sat quietly on the digital platform. Unlike Dongwu's elaborate presentation, his documentation was straightforward. Detailed logs of navigation decisions, safety protocols, and a comprehensive breakdown of potential risks avoided during the journey. The gallery was surprisingly full. Other transport pilots, legal experts, and technology enthusiasts watched the proceedings with keen interest. This case could set a precedent for future interstellar travel regulations. Dongwu concluded his presentation with a dramatic projection showing potential economic losses. Billions of credits potentially wasted through inefficient navigation. The numbers were impressive, almost intimidating. But Jihan knew numbers didn't tell the whole story. Safety wasn't just about speed. It was about understanding, adaptation, and human intuition. Li Sungmin looked up from her digital tablet. "Mr. Park," she addressed Jihan, "you will have an opportunity to present your defense. The court is particularly interested in understanding your navigation methodology." The room fell silent. Jihan took a deep breath. He knew this was more than a legal hearing. This was a moment to demonstrate the unique capabilities of human decision-making. Outside the hearing chambers, the city continued its rhythmic pulse. Hover vehicles moved along predetermined routes, automated systems managing traffic with mathematical precision. Yet inside this room, a different kind of calculation was taking place. A calculation that would challenge everything the Galactic Transit Authority believed about efficiency, speed, and safe travel. Jihan looked calm. But behind his composed exterior, he was preparing to defend not just his navigation style, but a fundamental approach to understanding movement, risk, and human intelligence. The hearing was about to truly begin. Park Jihan stood up slowly, his movements deliberate and measured. The entire courtroom watched as he approached the central holographic display, his fingers moving with practiced precision across the digital interface. "Efficiency is not just about speed," he began, his voice calm and clear. "It's about safe arrival." The first simulation appeared, a complex spatial model showing his original route compared to the Galactic Transit Authority's proposed path. Where Dongwu's route was a straight line, Jihan's looked like a carefully woven path, avoiding potential dangers. Li Sungmin leaned forward, her interest visibly growing. Jihan highlighted 3 specific moments during his journey. Each point represented a potential catastrophic risk that the computational model would have missed. A micro-asteroid cluster here, a radiation pocket there, subtle gravitational anomalies that could tear a standard ship apart. "Look closely," he explained, zooming into each location. "These aren't just theoretical risks. These are real challenges that require human judgment." The holographic display began showing simulated scenarios. In each one, the computational route resulted in significant ship damage or complete mission failure. Jihan's route, though slower, consistently ensured safe passage. Dongwu shifted uncomfortably in his seat. His perfectly calculated routes were being systematically dismantled by practical demonstration. Jihan wasn't just defending himself. He was defending a fundamental principle of human navigation, the ability to make split-second decisions based on intuition and comprehensive understanding. "Our computers are advanced," he acknowledged, "but they cannot feel. They cannot sense. They cannot adapt in the same way human pilots can." To demonstrate, he ran a live simulation. Multiple unexpected variables were introduced: solar wind fluctuations, gravitational interference, random spatial debris. The computational route failed repeatedly. Jihan's route adjusted seamlessly. The courtroom was silent. Even the most skeptical observers were now watching with genuine interest. Lee Sungmin's digital tablet recorded every detail. Her preliminary notes suggested this was more than a simple legal dispute. This was a potential paradigm shift in understanding technological efficiency. Jihan's final demonstration was his most powerful. He showed a compilation of previous missions where computational efficiency had led to catastrophic failures. Ships lost, crews endangered, all because a perfect mathematical route ignored subtle, unpredictable variables. "Safety has a cost," Jihan explained, "but that cost is always less than the price of failure." Dongwu attempted to interrupt, presenting counter-arguments about economic efficiency. But his graphs and calculations now seemed hollow compared to Jihan's practical demonstrations. The holographic displays continued to show scenario after scenario. Human adaptation versus pure computational logic. Each simulation told the same story. Precise calculation was not always the same as intelligent navigation. Lee Sungmin's expression had changed. What began as a standard legal hearing was transforming into something more significant. This was about understanding the limitations of pure technological efficiency. "Mr. Park," she finally said, "your demonstration raises profound questions about our current navigation standards." Jihan nodded, understanding that this was about more than his personal case. This was about recognizing the unique capabilities of human decision-making in an increasingly automated universe. The courtroom felt different now. The tension had shifted from accusation to genuine curiosity. Observers whispered, digital tablets flickered with analysis, and the very definition of efficiency seemed to be quietly rewriting itself. Dongwu sat silent, his perfectly prepared presentation now looking like a collection of theoretical abstractions. Park Jihan had done more than defend himself. He had challenged an entire system's understanding of what it meant to navigate safely through the complex, unpredictable landscape of space. The hearing was far from over. But something fundamental had already changed. The courtroom transformed into a high-tech simulation chamber. Large holographic displays surrounded Park Jihan, ready to test the limits of human navigation against computational precision. Lee Sungmin activated the first scenario. A complex spatial environment materialized. Dense asteroid fields, unpredictable radiation zones, and multiple gravitational interference points. The challenge was simple: navigate through without damage. The Galactic Transit Authority's computational model went first. Its route was a perfect mathematical line, calculating the shortest possible path. The simulation began, and within moments, disaster struck. Virtual sensors showed catastrophic hull breaches, system failures, and complete mission destruction. Jihan watched carefully. This wasn't just about proving a point. This was about demonstrating the fundamental difference between calculation and adaptation. When his turn came, his approach was different. His hands moved almost like a musician, subtle and responsive. Where the computer saw a straight line, Jihan saw a living, breathing spatial landscape. He didn't fight against the challenges, he worked with them. The first potential asteroid cluster approached. The computational model would have powered through, trusting its shields. Jihan subtly adjusted trajectory, using gravitational pulls to gently redirect the ship. What should have been a high-risk zone became a smooth passage. Dongwu leaned forward, his previous confidence visibly wavering. The second scenario introduced unexpected solar wind interference. The computational route became a death trap. Radiation levels spiked. System after system began to fail. But Jihan's navigation anticipated the changes. He didn't just react. He predicted. Lee Sungmin's digital tablet recorded everything. Each movement, each decision was logged and analyzed in real time. The difference was becoming clear. Humans didn't just calculate. They understood. Radiation pockets that would have destroyed a standard ship became navigational opportunities. Gravitational anomalies that seemed impossible to avoid became complex dance movements of technological survival. Adaptation is not a feature, Jihan explained quietly. It's a living strategy. The simulation continued. Multiple scenarios tested every possible spatial challenge. Computational routes failed consistently. Jihan's route adapted, adjusted, survived. It wasn't about being faster. It was about being smarter. One particularly challenging scenario involved a series of gravitational whirlpools, spatial phenomena that could tear a ship apart in milliseconds. The computational model crashed immediately. Jihan navigated through like a skilled sailor riding complex ocean currents. Observers in the courtroom watched in complete silence. This was more than a legal hearing. This was a demonstration of human potential. Dongwu's earlier confidence had completely disappeared. His perfectly constructed arguments were crumbling with each successful navigation. The final simulation was the most complex. Multiple simultaneous challenges, radiation, asteroids, gravitational interference, and unexpected spatial disruptions. The computational model didn't just fail. It became a virtual explosion of technological inadequacy. Jihan's navigation was poetry in motion. Each movement was a calculated risk, each adjustment a testament to human intuition. Lee Sungmin stopped the simulation. Her expression had changed completely. What began as a standard legal hearing had become something much more significant. Remarkable, she said simply. The courtroom buzzed with a new understanding. Technology was powerful, but it wasn't everything. Human adaptability, intuition, and complex decision-making couldn't be reduced to simple mathematical equations. Jihan had done more than defend himself. He had demonstrated a fundamental truth about human capability. The hearing was changing, and everyone present knew it. The courtroom felt different now. Tension hung in the air like electricity, waiting to discharge. Lee Sungmin adjusted her digital tablet, her fingers moving slowly across its surface. After careful consideration, she began, her voice cutting through the silence. The court finds in favor of the defendant, Park Ji-hun. Kim Dongwu's face transformed. Shock, disbelief, and something close to professional humiliation played across his features. The Galactic Transit Authority's perfect record was about to be challenged. Sungmin continued. The demonstration clearly showed that computational efficiency cannot replace human adaptability. Mr. Park's navigation methods represent a new standard of safety and intelligent route management. The verdict wasn't just about Jihan. It was about recognizing a fundamental truth about human capabilities in an increasingly automated universe. Dongwu attempted to object, but his arguments now sounded hollow. The simulation results were clear. Computational precision had its limits. Human intuition did not. Furthermore, Sungmin announced, the court recommends a complete review of current navigation protocols. Mr. Park's approach will be submitted as a new benchmark for interstellar transportation. The implications were massive. This wasn't just a legal victory. This was a paradigm shift. Journalists in the gallery began transmitting the news. Social networks would soon be buzzing with discussions about human adaptability versus pure computational logic. Ji-hun remained calm. He understood this was bigger than a personal victory. This was about proving that human intelligence couldn't be reduced to simple algorithms. Dongwu's entire professional reputation was on the line. The Galactic Transit Authority would need to rebuild its entire approach to navigation and efficiency. The current computational models fail to account for dynamic spatial environments, Sungmin explained in her final statement. Mr. Park has demonstrated that intuitive, adaptive navigation is not just valuable, it's essential. Outside the courtroom, the city continued its rhythmic pulse. Automated systems managed traffic. Communication networks hummed with data. But something had changed. A small victory for human potential had just been recorded. The hearing concluded. Ji-hun collected his documents, his movements precise and measured. Dongwu stood nearby, his earlier confidence completely shattered. "This isn't just about speed," Ji-hun said quietly. "It's about understanding." Sungmin watched the interaction, a small smile playing on her lips. She knew this verdict would be discussed for years to come. The Galactic Transit Authority would need to rebuild. Their perfect computational models had been proven imperfect. Human intuition had won the day. As Ji-hun walked out, the courtroom buzzed with conversations. Pilots, legal experts, and technology specialists all discussed the same thing. The day human adaptability proved more powerful than pure computational logic. The world of interstellar transportation would never be the same. A single human pilot had challenged an entire system's understanding of efficiency, and he had won. Not through aggression, not through confrontation, but through calm, calculated demonstration of human potential. The verdict was unexpected, but perhaps it was also inevitable.